How do you build a legitimate AI business without doing any of the work yourself, even if you are a complete beginner? That's exactly what we're going to go over in this video. We're going to break down the contractor arbitrage model. This is going to be a step-by-step framework on how to go ahead and outsource service delivery to skilled contractors. That way you can focus on high leverage activities. Now, whether you are still learning the service delivery, maybe you're already actively prospecting, or maybe you're already closing deals. This framework that we're going to go over in this video is going to give you a scalable way of delivering exceptional client results without you being an expert yourself. So if you want to scale fast without burning out, then this is the video to watch. Now, the same exact document that we're going to go over in this video is going to be available for you inside of our free school community. And when you join, you're going to get access to over 50 videos on exactly how to start and scale your own AI business. You're also going to get access to scripts, templates, SOPs, frameworks, along with weekly calls with myself. And all of this is free for you when you join. The link for that is going to be down below. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video. The contractor arbitrage model, how to ensure exceptional client results even if you are a beginner. That's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. We'll go over what exactly is the contractor arbitrage model, why the contract arbitrage model actually works. We'll talk about labor as leverage, in other words, getting others to fulfill on our behalf. We'll go over how to approach delegation, even if you are a complete beginner. We'll go over how much to compensate these contractors that you would hire to fulfill these services. We'll talk about where you can find the best talent, and then we'll talk about how to vet contractors effectively. So this is going to be a very thorough, in-depth video. It's about 12 pages long, and I hope you watch the whole thing because you'll get a lot of value from it. So first of all, even if you are just starting out and you don't have the technical skills, you can still deliver exceptional client results by leveraging skilled contractors. I don't want you to think that just because you're starting out, you're limited to being able to get results. The fact that you can leverage other people's skills is something very useful, which many companies do. And in this video, you're going to learn how to use just that, the contractor arbitrage model, to confidently delegate services, scale faster, and operate like a pro from day one without necessarily being an expert yourself. So what is the contractor arbitrage model to begin with? Contractor arbitrage is a business practice in the context of, let's say, marketing. The business practice is you will delegate fulfillment and or service delivery to someone else. Now, ideally, we like to hire from overseas. And I'll tell you why that is. So you delegate the service delivery or fulfillment to someone else while you keep the price difference as profit. So you can think of it as having an employee, having a contractor, having someone who, again, does things on your behalf, which in this case would be the fulfillment. Instead of you personally delivering these services yourself, you're able to delegate to someone else who has far more experience than you at your current skill level, with the goal to not only free up your time as a business owner, but more importantly, ensure that you can get great client results, which is really why the only reason why businesses are paying you. They're paying you to get them, great results, get them the desired outcome. Well, you can go ahead and leverage someone's experience to go ahead and do just that. So let's just give you an example, okay, of like what this would look like. Let's say you are running paid ads for a business. Well, a club business will pay you, let's say, $2,000 a month for your paid ad services. You'll pay your contractor $300, and then you keep the rest of the money as quote unquote profits. Now, same thing if you are building, let's say, voice agents or chatbots or any sort of automation. Let's say the client pays you $5,000 setup fee, and then you would go ahead and pay a contractor about 20% of the project, which in this case would be $1,000, and then you keep the $4,000 profit to you. Okay, so that is essentially a contract arbitrage. It is one of the oldest practices in the book, and I want you to understand that some of the best companies out there, their founders are not the smartest people in the company. That's why they hire other people who are much smarter than them. Look at Meta. Meta just went on a job hunt and recruited some of the best engineers from OpenAI. Those guys are far more experienced than Mark Zuckerberg. Not necessarily experienced, but smarter in what they do than Mark Zuckerberg. And that's the whole idea. Just because you're starting out does not mean you should be doing the service delivery yourself. You should know how it works, but not necessarily do it yourself. And we'll talk about that in more detail. So that is the what when it comes to the contractor arbitrage model. Let's talk about the why. So the contractor arbitrage model allows you to virtually guarantee great client results, even if you're a complete beginner with no experience.
assuming you delegate support to the right talent. So it allows you to virtually guarantee great client results as a complete beginner with no experience whatsoever, assuming, again, you find the right talent. For you to master the art of service delivery, it would take you months, if not years. If you are looking to become one of the best people in Facebook ads, like, you're not going to click a few buttons and become an expert. You can learn very quickly, but to master the art of, let's say, paid ads, it's going to take you months, if not year. Okay. And the same goes with many other services, right? You can learn it quick, but to quote unquote call yourself mastered it, it'll take you some time. You will need to get hands-on experience, and you can't risk that on client accounts with their own money. So let's say your client pays you to run ads for them, and you're going to need real life experience. Like, you're going to either need to put your own money in Ads Manager and run that so that you can actually get hands-on experience, or you do that with your client's stuff, account and money. And I don't recommend you doing that with your client's money. Don't let the client that you get be the first person that you run ads for. Because it's going to be the first client, and you're going to risk getting them bad results, which is not good business. And at the same time, they will leave you quick. Also, you will also start an online business for freedom. You start an online business for freedom, not to overload yourself with more work on top of your job, school, family, and responsibilities. So when you're starting an agency, you're starting this to eventually have location freedom, financial freedom, and freedom of choice. Now, if you're just starting out, freedom is like, throw this out the picture. You can put your head down and just grind, right? But at the same time, you're starting this business so that you can focus on biggest force multipliers. So even if you're putting your head down and you're working, well, you should be working on things that actually move the needle, right? Rather than something that you can easily delegate to someone. So doing the service delivery as well just gives you another job that you have to do on top of everything else that you probably already got going on in your life, whether that's family, whether that's a part-time job, whether that's university, or whether you're just a married individual with duties to your spouse. All right. So that is the why for the contractor arbitrage model. Not only does it get you great results, not only does it get you someone who's far more experienced than you at your current skill level, and you can leverage that to your advantage, but it also frees up your time so that you can focus on the things that you love, but also on the biggest force multipliers when it comes to your business. Now let's talk about leverage. Okay, we'll go over leverage. This is probably one of the most important concepts when it comes to running a business, really. But in the context of building an agency, it's very important. We actually have a video dedicated specifically to this. It's going to be linked down below, along with in our school community. I highly recommend that you check this video out, because if there was one thing that I would say you need to understand in order for you to do a lot more in less time and less effort, it's going to be understanding the concept of leverage. And that's exactly what we'll go over here. Specifically, we're going to go over labor. Okay. There's 4 forms of leverage. You have capital, which is the lowest form, labor, code, and then media, which is the highest form of leverage. So leverage is going to be your best friend in business. And there are essentially 4 forms of leverage. In this specific example, we're going to be talking about labor, which is, again, hiring people to do things for you. Hiring people to fulfill the services on your behalf. And leverage, you can think of it as the use of something to maximize an advantage. In the case of hiring someone, you're using someone, not in the specific word of like using them as if you're doing something wrong. Rather, you are taking this person and you are maximizing your advantage. You hire someone to deliver the ads for your clients. You hire someone to build an AI solution for your clients, right? You're using of something to maximize an advantage. The contractor arbitrage model, especially overseas, allows us to leverage other people's years of experience and their trials and errors, millions of dollars generated, even if we are a complete beginner. Okay. So we have in our Done For You mentorship program, we have a database of over 300 talent from all types, from media buyers to graphic designers, go high level specialists, AI prompt engineers, developers, so on and so forth. And, we get people that join our mentorship program and they're complete beginner. Like, they've never did any of the services that they are going to be selling. So what we do is we make sure they understand how the service works. And then we take someone from our database who has years of experience. Let's just give you an example of the media buyers. All the media buyers we have in our database have at least 3 years experience and have generated at least $2.5 million in revenue. So imagine if you are a complete beginner and you're offering Facebook ads. How confident do you think you will be if you have someone who's had at least 2 years experience and has generated at least $2.5 million in revenue? And most of them, probably they average around 10 million in revenue generated for their clients. Like, that's amazing, because you just saved years of trial and error, years of spending time, inside Ads Manager, years of testing and figuring out what works and what doesn't, simply by hiring someone. And guess what? That person doesn't really cost you much. It's someone that is overseas, which is why, as you see here in the example, if a client is paying you, let's say, $2,000 to run ads, pay your contractor anywhere from 300 to 500 and you keep the rest. Same idea applies when it comes to building out these AI solutions. So we hire and vet and find these people from overseas because it's a win-win situation. In their case, the money that you pay them goes a really long way compared to other opportunities that their country provides them. And at the same time, it's cost efficient for you as well. Okay, and we'll actually talk about how to go ahead and delegate the services, find someone, so on and so forth in the rest of this video. If you're watching this video and you're like, man, this is great, I just want you guys to find these people, place them in my agency, do the client outreach for me, meet with MJ one-on-one. If you want us to completely do everything for you that I'm explaining here and more, there's going to be a link down below where you can go ahead and join our mentorship program. We'll see if you're a good fit and get you started, at least to learn more as well. So that is the 4 forms of leverage. Check out the video that I mentioned where we go over in more detail on how to use all 4 forms of leverage throughout your entire business. Next, let's talk about how to approach delegating for your AI agency. So we understand leverage, we understand what the contract arbitrage model is, why we need it. Now let's talk about how to actually approach it. Delegation is essential if you want to scale. And my bottom line advice is you should aim to delegate services eventually. You should aim to delegate all service delivery and fulfillment eventually. But how and when you delegate depends on where you are in your journey. So let's go ahead and break that down. So if our end goal is to delegate all the services delivery, let's talk about how and when. So if you are actively prospecting, let's talk about that. So you already set everything up and right now you're actively prospecting. Well, if you're already reaching out to potential clients and hope to land meetings or deals soon, you need to start delegating right away. You can follow the steps we cover in the video on how and where to find top talent. We'll actually cover that later in this video. So if you're prospecting already, hire someone right away. And why do you want to delegate now? Well, because if you wait until after you close your first deal to find a contractor, you're going to run into a lot of issues. The first thing is that you'll be scrambling to fulfill what you promised. You just closed a client and you told them you can deliver these solutions in XYZ days, but you don't have someone yet hired. So you're going to be scrambling trying to figure out how to fulfill. And you don't want to be in that position. The other thing you're going to face is that all your hard work and outreach would be wasted. Imagine you did 100 calls or spent 2 weeks sending emails or DMs, or you paid ads, you spent money on ads to get a client. Well, all that work is going to go to waste now because you finally landed a client and now you don't have a way to fulfill those services. And lastly, and most importantly, the client might have a bad experience if you can't deliver fast. Okay, you need to understand once you close a client, that's the moment. That's one of the very important moments in their journey after they finish paying you, because they're going to have buyer's remorse if they don't feel like they just paid they're getting the value that you promised them. So you want to get them results in the fastest way possible. And if you wait until you land a client, you're going to run into all of these issues. Instead, find someone now and have them prepped so that when a deal comes in, you're ready to fulfill confidently. It's exactly what we do with all the partners in our mentorship program. Before they even start prospecting, they already have someone in their business that is going to fulfill the services. They've met with them, agreement signed. They know the SOPs. They know everything. Like if they get a client tomorrow, they'd be able to hand it off to the contractor with no problem. So at this stage, you should have agreed on the services. So find someone and agree on the service fee. Like, how much am I going to pay you? Great. Okay, understood. Understand the SOPs for handing off fulfillment. So you should know, like, okay, once I get a client, what is these step-by-step protocols that I need to follow to hand this client off to you? And lastly, clarity on what the contractor needs for you to deliver the results. You don't want to wait till you get a client, even if you have a contractor, and then later on realize that, we're going to need images, or we're going to need videos, or we're going to need this information from this client. You should know all of this ahead of time. Okay, so it's better to be prepared. So at this stage, you should have the following. Now, here's a bonus tip. Even though your contractor is doing the work, you should still be involved. So, one thing that I've had some brothers tell me is like, well, if I hire someone, I'm not going to be able to learn it. I want to learn how to do it myself. And it's like, dude, like that's how actually you're going to learn how to do it, is by having someone doing the work, and then you can oversee and shadow what someone with skills is actually doing, versus you doing it yourself and not having nothing to gauge if what you're doing is good or bad. So I recommend that you are very involved in what your contractor is doing, especially if it's early on, right? Be open-minded and try to learn as much as you can. And you're not learning so that you can fire them. You're learning so that you could better articulate yourself to your customers, so that you understand the art of service delivery, right? I know for all of our services, I know exactly how to fulfill it, but I don't do any of it. I focus on the biggest force multipliers, like, for example, creating content for you guys like this, or figuring out how to innovate in the business, right? So you should be involved. You should know how everything works, and you're going to know that because you'll be involved with your contractor. So review what they're doing, ask questions, okay? Get on calls with them, ask questions, join weekly check-ins to learn the service delivery in and out. You should have a weekly call or a bi-weekly call with your contractor to understand exactly what they're doing. He can send you Loom videos so that he can break down exactly what's going on. This is going to help you grow into a better agency owner and a team leader overall, okay? So that's the first, is if you are already prospecting. Again, if you're already prospecting, you should delegate right away. Now, if you're still learning the services, okay, so let's say you're still learning the services, you're not prospecting yet because you're still learning the ins and outs of the service delivery. Well, in that case, focus on understanding the service first. You don't need to rush delegation until you feel confidently explaining what your agency does. Now, here's the thing. It shouldn't take you more than like 2 weeks. Like 2-3 weeks max is what it should take you for you to understand the basics of your service delivery. It really doesn't take you that much longer. Okay. So even though you don't need to rush it, also don't prolong it. So don't rush it until you feel confident on what your agency can do. Then you can start prospecting. But the moment that you begin prospecting, you should immediately start building out your delegation plan so that you're not stuck with fulfillment once you land a deal. Just like we stated here. Don't wait till after you get a client to go ahead and find someone. Instead, find someone the second that you start prospecting. And if you want to learn how to find talent effectively and systemize your fulfillment and everything that you need, there's going to be a link down below to join our free school community. In there, we have over 30 videos, scripts, templates, this exact video along with this document. So I highly recommend that you check it out. In there, we'll actually have the intake form that you can use for hiring contractors and vetting them, and you'll get everything that you need basically to start an agency is going to be in our free school community. It's completely free. It's information that others charge thousands of dollars for. We give it to you completely free. So that is the how to approach delegation for your agency. Now let's go ahead and talk about how much to pay for your service delegation. So how much would you pay your contractors? When it comes to delegation, there's really no one size fits all price tag because the cost depends on what you're delegating. That said, if you're following the AI growth partner model, which we cover in depth in another video, if you're watching this video for the first time, we teach you how to become an AI growth consultant using the AI growth partner model. If you are following this model, you're going to be charging a lot upfront. Okay, we're not charging 1,500 to do one thing. No, we're going into a business. We're solving many bottlenecks, and we're taking minimum $5,000 upfront minimum. So we're charging a lot of upfront fees, which makes our cost of delegation less of a concern. If you are going into a business and you're charging them $10,000 upfront and then $3,000 every month, you're not worried about paying, your contractor a few $100s or even $1,000. Why? Because you are charging upfront, and you can find superstar talent. You can find people that can, do the services to the best of their ability. Right? You have leverage in that, in finding great talent. In other words, healthy profit margins make delegation easy. So don't fall into the situation where you're charging 1,500 and then you're having to, find a media buyer who will only do it for a couple $100, right? You're gonna pay. You're gonna get what you're worth, and you should be paying your contractors a great price in order for you to find like someone who's actually worth delegating the services to. I mean, I'm telling you guys this because I've hired literally over 200 contractors, okay? Not just for my agency, but also for our partners. And usually the people that are like the cheapest are the ones that don't get great results, right? So don't be scared to pay contractors. And the way you don't be scared to do that is by charging a lot upfront, which is exactly why becoming an AI growth consultant is much different than your typical SMA retainer model. So let's give you some examples, okay? Giving you some examples of like how much to pay for contractors. And it's really hard to give you a set example because I don't know the service that you're delegating for. But let's say, for example, you're doing AI voice agents or chatbots. An industry benchmark is around 20 to 30% of the total project. So if you're building out chatbot, a voice agent and a chatbot for a client, and you're charging, let's say, $4,000 for the build, or 5,000 or 10,000, whatever the price is, you typically would pay 20 to 30% of the project value. Now, eventually you can have someone on your team and you can pay them like a salary, right? But if you're just doing like a one-off project or you're just starting out, 20 to 30% is the benchmark in the market. So ideally here you would pay your contractor at least 1,200. Important note, you're not locked into 30% rule. So just because we say 20 to 30% here, this is the industry benchmark, doesn't mean that you have to follow it. If you're charging less for any reason, you can negotiate a custom rate. So if you want to charge less, you want to pay more, it's up to you. It's all about negotiation. Just make sure that you maintain healthy margins and that you pay your contractor fairly based on their experience and contribution. Last thing you want is to, pay your contractor less than what they're worth, and then they do a bad job or don't want to continue working with you. Check out other videos where we go over pricing and packaging for a deeper dive on how to set premium pricing, how to structure your offer, and how to delegate. Remember, great pricing equals freedom to delegate without stress. If you can price your services good, then you'll have no issue paying your contractors what they're worth because you're charging a lot upfront and you have healthy margins. So check out a video where we go over how to price your services if you want an idea on exactly how to go ahead and price your services. So that's going to be how much to pay for service delivery. Now we'll talk about finding talent for your agency. Finding talent is really easy, okay? Finding the right talent, that's where most people struggle. You can virtually go on any platform right now and find any talent that you want, but you have to make sure that they're the right talent, right? So there are countless platforms out there, but more importantly than where to look is how to hire, okay? The where to find these people is easy. How to hire them, it's what's more important. And this will walk you through both where to look and how to properly vet contractors to avoid the biggest pitfall. Now, again, if you want to skip the headache, guys, of hiring the wrong person, having them lie to you about what they do, just going through that entire process, join our Done For You consulting program. This is a paid mentorship program where we will build out your internal systems from scratch. Every back-end business infrastructure will build it out. We'll place vetted talents and contractors in your agency. You'll get a pool of people to choose from. And then I personally will provide you one-on-one coaching on exactly how to go ahead and scale your business. Okay. So if you just want to skip all this headache and work with me directly, there's going to be a link down below to learn more. So let's talk about where to find these people. Okay. And I'm literally giving you the exact protocols that we follow. So if you decide to do it yourself, that's fine. It's just that, if you want us to do it, that's even better. But this is literally the exact protocols that we follow. So even if you don't join our mentorship program, I hope you still find value because this is exactly what we do. First place is going to be Facebook groups. So there are dozens of niched groups on Facebook filled with skilled and affordable contractors. Facebook group is really like a gold mine when it comes to finding talent. There's a lot of groups rather in there. And what you want to do is you want to find groups relevant to your services. Post a "we're hiring" message or DM profiles that look promising. And then we'll go over the vetted process shortly. So when it comes to Facebook groups, just go to Facebook in the search box. Let's say you're looking for a media buyer, search media buyer or paid ad specialist. If you're searching for someone to do voice agent, search voice agent builder or voice agent specialist or AI prompt engineer. Search whatever keyword you're looking for and then filter by groups. And you're going to see a lot of groups. Now, when you're joining these groups, make sure that you read the rules because some groups do not allow you to blatantly just like hire people right away or they have certain rules, right? So just make sure you're reading the rules and that you're abiding by the rules laid out in the group. The second place is going to be Fiverr and Upwork. Now, both of these are great places to discover top freelancers. However, they don't allow off-platform communication. So I've almost had my profile banned on Fiverr a while back when I messaged someone and I was like, hey, what's your WhatsApp number? I want to shoot you a message so we can talk about this. And Fiverr doesn't like that, okay? It does not like when you communicate off-platform. However, here's a pro tip, okay? This is what I have done to get contact information of great talent. What you can do is you can create a disguised Google Doc with job title details and ask them to message you on WhatsApp for further information, or to provide you provide them their your number, or they provide you their phone number. Nonetheless, it's a Google Doc which says job details, goes over the job, but then you add your WhatsApp number in there. That way you can build a direct relationship without getting banned. Because if you're looking to hire a freelancer or a contractor rather to do these jobs, you don't want to be communicating directly on Fiverr. Like, you want to add them to your own platform, Slack or Discord. And the way I've found to circumvent this is send them your information in a Google Doc, and then when they view it, they'll be able to communicate with you. And the third place is going to be school communities. So school is filled with active service providers looking for agency owners to partner with. Each group has its own rules, so be respectful and read community guidelines before posting. Inside our free school community, we provide you a list of school communities, Facebook groups, Fiverr and Upwork contractor links. Go ahead and join if you want access to these links so that you don't have to sit there and try to figure them out yourself. So that is going to be how to find the talent. Now, more important than how to find the talent, let's talk about vetting them. So vetting the talent right away. So finding talent is one step. Vetting them is how you protect your time and your reputation. We use this protocol to vet really right now over 300 contractors in our network, and it works. Step one, you're going to go ahead and define the role. You know exactly what you're hiring for and expect from them. You have to know this. You need to outline the required skills, specific tasks and scope of the work, the compensation and delivery time. Clarity attracts the right talent. Vagueness brings confusion. So step number one, define the role clearly. Step number two, use an intake form. Turn your job requirements into a form applicants must fill out. This filters out low quality candidates and saves time. So the hiring process would look like this. You have a job post on any of the platforms we just mentioned. Then you have the intake form. Intake form you're going to review. Once you review it, the ones that look good, you're going to have an interview. And then from the ones you interview, you're going to make a hire. Bonus filter here is to add a Loom video in the form. So ask someone to, in your intake form, ask them, hey, record a Loom video telling me who you are and why you think you would be a great fit. Why do we do this? Because number one, it allows us to see their personality beyond just a simple text. Like, hey, I've did this, I've did that, right? And it also gauges who follows directions. No video equals disqualified. Virtually every single time I've hired someone and I ask them to record a Loom video, if they do not record a Loom video, I completely disregard their application, because this just tells me that you're not willing to follow instructions. Okay. So if you want, you can do this. I'll just let you know you're going to get less applicants that actually will apply or will follow instructions, which is probably a good thing, because if they're not following instructions from the beginning, you probably don't want to hire them. Step number three is going to be conducting the interview. So use the interview to verify their skills and experience, clarify their expectations and responsibilities, and confirm cultural fit and communication style. So once you are having an interview with them, you want to make sure on these things. Okay. You should feel confident after this call or move on. So after the call, you should have like a good gut feeling like, yeah, this is a good person. I definitely would hire them. The only reason you wouldn't hire them right away is maybe because you still have other candidates. But you shouldn't be like, sometimes it's like when you're hiring, if you did your due diligence, like I'm showing you here, it comes down to a gut feeling. Okay. Because you can get on a call with virtually 20 people that can deliver the services, but at the end of the day, it's like comes from that gut feeling like, okay, I think this person would be a better fit for us, right? Because if someone can deliver the services, then you need to gauge it off of something else, which is, okay, is this person trustworthy? Like, what was the vibe like? Do they communicate effectively? Is this person going to show up and do the work? So you should feel confident after the call. If not, just simply move on. Step number 4 is going to be to go ahead and onboard contractors. So once you've selected someone, you need to bring them into your ecosystem. And we have a full SOP for contractor onboarding video inside our free community, which walks you through the SOPs, that you need to follow to onboard them, the different communication channels, handoff protocols, and then payment systems. We're not going to cover that here because it's a lot to get into, and this video is already longer than it should be. So definitely check out the video inside our school community where we go over how to onboard contractors. Now, by following this framework, you're going to build a reliable plug-and-play talent pipeline in your agency, and we'll never have to worry about delegating again. Go ahead and join our school community to get access to the talent sourcing links, the intake form, templates, onboarding SOPs, contractor contracts, and much more. So this is the contractor arbitrage model and how to effectively ensure great client results. I hope this video was helpful. If you found value in it, please consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one.